Hey, what's up you guys? I am here today with a very simple makeup tutorial that I think will be really handy in the summer months to come. I posted this bold lip and naked eye look on Instagram the other day and it seemed to be a big hit over there, so I figured I would film it for you. It's obviously a very simple look because the eyes are completely bare, and I say that in big quotations because there's actually a lot on there. But you can take the techniques that make this look good and kind of apply it to simple eye looks in the future, and I think they'll be very handy to have in your little personal arsenal. I don't know why I'm pointing at you like a douchebag in an 80s movie. And if you want to pair this with a more summery bold lip, like I think it'll be something that you can get a lot of use out of in the summer months, because like who the hell wants to be worrying that their eye makeup is running down their face? At least if this budges, it just looks like worse skin than it did before. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? I think it'll be handy. I think you might learn a couple things. Thank you in advance for watching the video, and let's get started and I'll show you how I get this naked eye bold matte brown lip look. Okay, for the sake of this not being a 1-hour video, I have already applied my foundation, a little bit of contour, and my brows. But the brows I'm going to expand upon, which we will get to in a second, because that's kind of part of the key of making this look like a put together look rather than you just forgot to put on eye makeup. Because really, at the end of the day, you want it to look like, oh, I'm not wearing any eye makeup, but like you're just wearing secret eye makeup. I'm gonna zoom you in. We'll get started. I am going to go in on these brows a little bit, and then I will show you how we do the eye, and we'll continue from there. Normally, this is where I leave my brows alone. I have a whole brow tutorial on how I do this version of my brows, but because this is like a more nude, naked eye look, I want to make sure that my brows are super defined by my standards. Like for some people, this actually won't be very defined at all. But for me, this is on the defined side. So I'm going to take the line where I draw underneath the brow a little further in, and then I'm going to fill them in more in the middle. I'll show you what I mean. Grab my angle brush and my ABH dip brow, which is what I always use to do like the underneath line of my brow. I actually use this to do almost my whole brow nowadays. I used to use a marker for the front portion here, but now I just do it with a dip brow. So I am going to take a little bit more of the dip brow than I already used on my angle brush, and I am going to bring that line further down toward my nose and make it a little more, I don't like to use the word harsh because that has like a negative connotation to it. However, that's what we're doing. You go in with your line a little bit further and make it a little bit more strong all the way through. It'll frame the eye more and give it more shape and give it the appearance of being more finished, even if you appear to be wearing very little eye makeup. In this area of the brow, you can still see a little bit of skin through the brow hairs. Normally, that's fine for me. I don't mind having it look a little bit more feathery, but again, because we are going with a new eye makeup look, I want it to be more defined and a little bit more prominent than it normally would be. So what I like to do is tip my head back like this so I can like see in the hairs, and then I start filling in with my brow pencil. The look that I did that I'm recreating here was literally just almost blank on the eye, and the way I achieved that was I both primed and colored my entire lid with my under eye concealer. So I used the shade that I use under my eyes across the whole lid, and I set it like I would set any other area of my skin. I like to start just by dotting a copious amount of my concealer onto, and I'm going to buff that in from the lash line all the way up to the brow. but I'm going to stop right before I get to the brow because I'm going to use a smaller brush when I get up there just to make sure that I am carving out the shape. Just to make sure that it looks nice and sharp. You don't want your big blending brush to blend away any of the hard work that you did with the brow pencil and the brow, whatever the fuck, dip brow pomade. What I like to do next is treat this just the way I would if I was applying my concealer underneath my eye, is take a small fluffy brush. This is the Real Technique. This is just, I don't know what this brush is and the name is rubbed off, but I will link it below if I can figure it out. But I just like to take this, my Laura Mercier translucent, where is it? There we go. Laura Mercier translucent setting powder. I put a little in the cap and then I tap it over the whole lid, and I'm just gonna tap out any creasing that's starting with my finger before I set it. Cause there ain't no point in setting it if there's creases in it. Hello. Tap that setting powder over the entire lid from lash to brow. So now at this point, I am going to add just the tiniest bit of shadow through the crease area. The reason that I'm doing that, and I know this is the no makeup, no eye makeup look, is because without anything in my crease, my eyes tend to look a little flat or a little like downturn on the end because I have like a little bit of a droop here, you know, a little bit of a hood coming down, and one day will be like a full hood, you know what I'm saying? So if you have like a really defined crease, naturally you can skip this step. I like to add just a hint of it. You probably won't even be able to notice it outwardly, but it'll just be like, add that. It's like real light contouring for the eye. This color that I'm hitting pan on here in the Kat Von D Shade and Light Eye palette, I am going to put that through the crease area. So I'm just gonna tip my head back as you do, pop the brush right in the crease, and just do one of these. Now, do you see the difference? You can't really tell that there's a color there, but that eyelid looks a little bit more lifted than that eyelid. I'm gonna repeat that step one more time on a slightly smaller brush. This is the Mirabella Eye Blender brush, and I am going to take another color from the Kat Von D Shade and Light Eye palette. I'm going to use this brown, and I'm going to mix it again with this same orangey transition tone. This time though, I'm only going to pop that in the outer portion of the crease, repeating the same windshield wiper motions. And that's where I'm going to leave the lid portion of this. You may have noticed that my eyelashes look like they're already done. I don't have strip lashes on or anything. These are lash extensions. So normally, if I didn't have lash extensions, I would pop a pair of fluffy lashes on with this look, or put a ton of mascara on to define the eye. Because I have these on, I'm actually gonna just leave it at that. But if you do not have lash extensions, which I would assume most people probably don't, I would take this time now to pop on a pair of falsies. I think the House of Lashes Boudoir, which are one of my favorites, will look amazing with this look, just saying. Or put on like a good hefty coat of mascara, because the lash line being fluffy is what makes this look, along with the brow. Okay, before I do anything else to the eye area, I am going to conceal my under eyes. Take the same Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer that I took for my lids. I'm just going to take that in a little swoopy triangle under the eye area, and I'm going to blend it in and set it much like I did with the lid. Oh, and because I forgot earlier, I'm actually going to grab my Anastasia brow gel and I'm going to run it through my brows, brush them up and set them because we want the brows to be as bulletproof as possible. Okay, I'm gonna grab that same Mirabella blending brush. It's a medium-sized blending brush. And I'm gonna go back under with a little bit of the same color again, just to connect the bottom to the top, because otherwise it looks a little bit disjointed. If you do not have this brush, because I've never even seen this brush before. I got it in like an Ipsy bag a million years ago. It's very similar to the Morphe M441 or the comparable MAC or Sigma brush of your choice. So I'm gonna grab my Shade and Light Eye again and go back into that peach color that I used on the lid. And I'm just gonna open up, look up to Jesus, and just fluff some under the lower lash line. You're not even hardly going to be able to see it at all, but it's little tiny touches like that that make your makeup look complete and done. I like to take this is in painting called a filbert brush, but just a small rounded lip brush is perfect because it will help you kind of trace the shape of your lip very easily. And what I like to do is dip that brush right onto the doe foot applicator of my liquid lipstick and then get to lining. So I like to start lining first and then kind of fill in the middle. But if there's any excess, which there is, I'll drag it into the center a little just so I'm not going crazy at the edge of the lip there. Now that I have like a nice even line on the outside, I'll just use the excess on that brush in the center and perfect any little notches and ridges. Once the edges are all lined to my satisfaction, I just go back in with the regular doe foot applicator on the liquid lipstick and fill in the middle. And that is the complete naked eyes and matte brown lips look that I posted the other day on Instagram that you guys seem to like so much. I hope that it was informative, even though it's a very simple look. Obviously, even with these simple looks, there are little techniques that you can learn along the way. So I hope that you learned something or at least slightly entertained. Please subscribe. I'm going to be doing more tutorials in the weeks to come. I'm also going to be doing some chittin' and chatting on this channel with you guys. Should be a chit chat video up on Wednesday. And yeah, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, follow me on social media, Ms. QuinnFace on Instagram, Ms. QuinnFace on Snapchat, Ms. QuinnFace on Twitter, and MsQuinnFace.com for my blog. I will link everything down below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed and have a great day. Okay, bye. But you don't know, bitch, because behind the scenes there's a lot of shit going on. I don't know, it makes me look a little bit like... Do you know what I mean? Does that